Sounds fantastic. Welcome everyone, my name is Kendall Johnson and thank you for visiting the Midi Guitarist Channel. And in this channel, this is where we help guitarists who want to film score or even use virtual instruments in their music compositions, but aren't very good at piano or don't want to use piano. So they would rather use guitar to control that MIDI. So just kind of do a brief recap. So again, I'm using the Boss GM800 with the Boss GK5 pickup. And in the other videos, I've found there's some libraries that work really good and other patches in the libraries that get a little wonky. So my goal is just to feature a library from a developer every single week, and you get to see how does it work? What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses? And then you get to decide if that's something you want to incorporate into your writing or venture into film scoring. So on that note, let's get started. All right, so here, it'll be a relatively shorter video because it's really just one patch, to be honest with you. And I have the Hans Zimmer Piano Full and Bright patch that I use. And I'm a huge fan of the Hans Zimmer Piano. I think it sounds fantastic. I don't do a ton of classical piano sounds in my scores. I really just kind of layer with piano and incorporate piano that way. In a lot of ways, there's certain notes and certain things I do with octaves that I might still use the keyboard for, but that's me. And because this is designed for, you're like, I don't want to touch a piano. So we're going to show you how it's done. And so far in all my writing or just experimenting, it actually works pretty good. So let's dive right in. I'm using a sustain pedal, obviously, just for the piano. And then I actually found myself, I don't use a pick with piano. I actually use my fingers. It feels like it gives it a little bit more of a... I think it just helps, if that makes sense. With the picking, obviously, you can still pick, if you wanted to do like a... You can hear it. It actually is really responsive and works really nice. Some things I might do in my scores is just little, with the sustain pedal, just a little bit of a... Works really nice with the high notes. You can hear it here. You can hear as I continuing picking and kind of keeping that sustained, the MIDI notes, like it's still kind of there and it's triggering multiple ones. So if you're in a line and you're like, have to be a little bit more intentional in the stopping with your hand, kind of palm muting, just so you can keep those sustains ringing, or you go and fix it in the back end in the programming side of things. Now, obviously, something you can't do in piano, as you know, you're doing left and right-handed, so you're maybe playing a bass line and doing the melody with your right. Clearly, we can't do that, and so it might involve you, recording this piece. And then you go back and overdub and record over with like a... while you're doing the... something like that, something nice and delicate. And again, you're gonna hear quirks and stuff like that. I want it to be real. This isn't about like the perfection. Like I want you to hear, oh, what is the guitar doing with the MIDI notes, and hearing those little weird kind of effects. I think that's important. I've seen a lot of videos, even just featuring this and showing what you can do, and it's like perfect. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I think as you play and get more comfortable with it, a lot of that, of just the delay and how things work, you get to that level. But I never want anyone to get into this and start playing and be like, whoa, that's funky and wonky. What am I gonna do with that? So, I'm just playing. And another thing, if you wanted to do too, again, same thing. We're going to go into our MIDI modifier here. And let's transpose it down. Let's do 2 octaves, because I am a huge fan of the Hans Zimmer piano with the low sounds. That's pretty low, but it does really well with the low ones. There you go. You get to have some fun with that. I might, if I was using this in my own recordings, I probably would not do the full octave down. I might just transpose it down 1 octave. Another thing you can do, and I haven't shown this in other videos, is to I often love playing detune. That's my thing. And so I never shared that in previous videos, but you can do that with this. Again, I wouldn't use the pick with the piano. That's just me, but you can see it. A little pluck note there. Another thing with the tunings too. I'm really big on open tunings as well. I ran into some issues where by doing some of the open tunings, it triggers the same. Obviously, you're some of them, like if you did a D, A, D, A, D, D, for example, some of those Ds are in the same octave, and so you're double triggering that MIDI note. So while the open tuning sounds awesome on the guitar, it just seemed like it wasn't triggering well, wasn't doing well through the virtual instrument plugins. And so, but the detune works because I'm playing those octaves, and so that works. But anything else where if the A's were in the same octave, it's gonna double trigger those two A's, because it's gonna think like, oh, I'm hitting it twice. If you're strumming, it's gonna wig out type of thing. So. So let me try a different patch here. I'm actually just curious. I'm going to try. There's a full. Can't remember if there's a few different versions of the. So what I was using is the full bright super soft. That's my favorite. This one I believe is the more percussive. Just turn it up here so we can all hear. So you can see, obviously, that's more percussive sound designed to play. Now you don't need a piano player at church anymore. You can. But I am just so you can hear the pluck notes. So there you go. One thing you can do, and I don't think if I explained this in previous videos, but it's kind of play in a way that you if you're a metal guitarist, or I guess you could sort of, if you had a musical idea, go with it. Like, just know there might be some programming on the other side, but that works, the whole, so, something like that. But yeah, so as you can see, it's pretty dang responsive. If we do it. I'm actually quite impressed. So the beautiful thing is that you as a guitarist, whatever your style is, how you play, you get to incorporate some cinematic piano into your scores or into your writings. And so far, the Spitfire Hans Zimmer piano actually controls really well. I'm actually impressed. And so I'm excited to use that on a lot of my scores for upcoming projects that I have. But yeah, that's Hans Zimmer piano played on guitar. So thank you everyone for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, put them down in the comments below. If you're new here and you haven't visited this page at all, or even if you have been visiting the page and you haven't already, please subscribe, set those alerts for upcoming videos. It helps me know if this is being helpful or not for other guitarists. And that's really why I started this channel, is to help guitarists who want to do film scores or incorporate virtual instruments into their writings, but aren't very good at piano or don't want to touch the piano. So thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Hope this is helpful for you, and blessings on the day.